So there's been a nuclear attack. Don't ask me how or why, just know that the big one has hit, okay? So what do? There are 3 important steps that I want you to remember. Step 1, get inside fast.
Это не блеф. А те, кто пытаются шантажировать нас ядерным оружием, должны знать, что роза ветров может развернуться и в...
Step 2.
Very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered.
Step 3. Stay tuned. Follow media for more information. Don't forget to sign up for Notify NYC for official alerts and updates. And don't go outside until officials say it's safe. All right? You've got this.
Have you ever noticed these signs? This was supposed to be a nuclear fallout shelter. There were over 80 of these scattered across New York City during the 1960s when the threat of nuclear war was at its all-time high. Now that the war in Ukraine has people worried about nuclear threats again, some are asking what happened to these fallout shelters. So we asked people on the street, what would you do if a nuclear bomb was falling on New York City?
Like, you could probably get, like, on a train and peace out, right? Like, if you take, like, the Express Q to Flatbush, and if it's, like, a smaller nuke that's, like, really only going to do Manhattan, I mean, you get to Flatbush in, like, 10 minutes.
Like, if I had to take shelter, probably in the subway, like they do in, like, Russia, like in Moscow. I think that's, like, kind of how they built the whole metro system, kind of off the backs of that.
If I have 30 minutes, I'm probably not going to take shelter at that point. Like, I don't know of any, so I'm probably just going to ride it out with the boys.
So with the train seeming like the most obvious choice to run, is it the safest place to be?
Knowing nuclear warheads, it just evaporates anything. Again, you might have a chance in the deeper stations, maybe, but I'd have to worry that, like, things would just get evaporated, you know, and it would be hard. And I think, thinking about going into the tracks instead of the stations, I think when we were talking about earlier, the sheer level of tracks, yeah, you might be safer in, like, tracks as opposed to stations because they're not as exposed to the outside world. But still, it doesn't matter if it's not that far underground, because that's all that matters. The fact that the New York City subway, I mean, even underneath this building we're in right now, it's the 6th train below us on Lexington Avenue line. And it's not that, like, you could hear it when you walk outside. You could hear the train. I mean, like, that's how below ground it was. I lived above the L train in Williamsburg when I was a student here, and from my window I could hear the announcements of every train that came by. That's how shallow it is. So I don't think a nuclear blast, if I can hear the subway announcements, I don't think a nuclear blast is going to protect, like, I don't think that's going to be protected down there. But again, I think the newer stations that are more resilient, deeper underground, they might have a better shot.